Bonjour. Welcome to Tete a Tete. On this show, we take themes of culture, root them into faith and balance on our quest for the truth. Today, we're going to talk about a clip that's been making the round. It's about Marcellus, Wiley, and Ryan Clark. They've had this beef going on over the years. And so Ryan Clark got to a point where he told Marcellus that he didn't want the fade. And we know what the fade is. It's some insinuation to violence. And I love how Marcellus came back and talked to Ryan, his response to Ryan. So we're going to go ahead and roll the clip.
What's up? You don't want smoke? No. Do you know what happens when you smoke? No, I don't. And I want to empower the kids that are getting affected by the culture that they punks just because they smart. You're not a punk because you don't want smoke. You're actually smart.
So as I was preparing for this clip, for this episode here, I did some homework. So right now, if you go on YouTube, if you go on Google, or you can also look on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find people talking about what toughness is. If you go on Google right now, you type tough guys. So this is what I found. If you type that on Google, tough guy, a person who is strong, resilient, and able to handle difficult or violent situation. They may also be described as a bully, hooligan, and so forth. So that's what we know about a tough guy, right? But to me, I feel like this is where the society goes off the rail a little bit. This is where we're doing our young kids a disservice. You don't need to look any further than in the hoods, in those places where family value isn't exactly there. You don't need to go super far to see it within your community, even. Doesn't matter if you live in the hood. So that's why I wanted to talk about that. You see how Marcellus talked about what his uncle did and how he lost his uncle and other people in his life to violence. It's easy to, as far as guys, right? Especially guys, we love to, in order to show somebody that we're a tough guy, we are willing to go to the extreme to prove that. But we don't realize sometimes that's not exactly how you would describe toughness. Sometimes that's how you describe being foolish. Think about it. When you decide that somebody did something to you and the best course of action is to show them how tough you are by showing them how you can get angry, how you can hurt them, and even go to the extreme and kill them. In the case of Wiley's uncle. And I was born in Haiti. I've seen a ton of people just reacting with emotions and not exactly thinking through, not exactly thinking about the situation in a way where, okay, if I do this, I might lose that. If I do this, I might lose this. This is everything that I have laying on the line. If I just let my emotions get the best of me, this is what could happen. I mean, we're all human. We kind of default into reactions. It's all about reactions. Somebody cuts us off in traffic. We want to flip them the bird. Somebody does this. We want to do that. Somebody does this. Want to do that. That's just the way it is, right? But that doesn't mean that you cannot train yourself not to be that way. And so today, when I saw that, when Marcellus posted that video, I thought it was brilliant because I immediately started thinking about the young generation in particular, because they're the ones that will take over for us. So we need to inculcate the right values, the strong values, strong ethics, and not that somebody looked at you wrong. Therefore, the next course of action, the next thing that they need to do or you need to do is just go and kill them. Just because you have access to a gun doesn't mean that you need to go kill them. So I often hear old heads talk about this. Back in the days, we used to deal with problems with our knuckles, but nowadays we just go with to the extreme, violence with weapons, with guns. I mean, in our society now, you see it almost every day. You hear about a shooting in a school, in a church, in a mall. It's gotten off the rail. Now we can talk about diving deeper into why those things are happening, I think a huge part of it, it's a lack of regards and care and love for humanity. So we don't appreciate each other enough. But this is something else. So me coming from a religious background, so through my research, I also came up with this. Um, as far as the whole tough guy thing, the tough guy here, look at me, this is what I can do. The best way to describe it, yes, like a lot of it is just being described right now with in a way that it's not really, there's no mental aspect to it. To pick up a gun, it doesn't take, like, it means you're not thinking rationally. You're just thinking with your emotion. He did this to me, so I'm going to do that to him. But you don't think any farther than that. Now, on the spiritual level, which could be used even if you're not spiritual, right? But check this out. So, better to get angry slowly than to be a hero. Better to be even-tempered than to capture a city. So what does that mean, really? So when I was reading that, I thought it was very applicable to this episode. It talks about self-control, right? Having self-control goes a long way. If you want to be mature, if you want to be a hero, if you want to be somebody that people look up to, if you want to do the right thing, you always need self-control. What does self-control do? It doesn't make you a coward. Just because Marcellus said, I don't want the fade. I'm going to be 50 years old. I have kids. Let's just dissect that. At the beginning, I talk about when you act on emotions, you don't act rationally. You don't think about your actions before you commit them. You don't look any further than the action or the act that was just committed to you, the wrong that was just done to you. You don't think about your kids. If you have kids, you don't think about opportunities you've had. You don't think about your parents, your loved ones. You don't think about us as a humankind. You are simply thinking about, I need to retaliate. I need to get him back. But life is so much more than that. Life is so much deeper than that. Life is so much, it's so complicated, but at the same time, you can really simplify it. I don't remember who said that. I think I read that not that long ago. A great philosopher. Once I say, you'll remember. He said that life is easy, but we insist on complicating it. And I believe he meant by that, I don't think it was being naive to think that all those crazy things that we've always known that's been happening, or what's happening right now and what will always be happening. The world is not perfect. So there's always going to be some sort of craziness happening around us. But it's the fact that, and I believe it was Confucius. So that's the name of the philosopher. So life is easy, but we insist on complicating it. And so it's the fact that it doesn't matter what we do. This life that we have now that we're living is not going to be perfect. So every day we need to try to simplify it, to make it as easy as possible, because the hardship will come regardless, whether we want it or not. It's going to be tough. It's going to be craziness happening. We're going to be hated. We're going to be yelled at. It doesn't matter how much good you do, which is why this podcast, this channel, I have, again, just as I have stated at the beginning, my goal is very clear. My agenda is very clear, because I believe everybody has an agenda. My agenda is very clear. I don't belong to any parties. I'm not beholden to any side, except for the side that lies with the truth, the side that is keen on finding out what the truth is and applying it. I'm not really here to talk about how I don't want to hurt feelings. I'm going to follow the facts wherever it leads. And so when Marcellus talked about, I'm 50 years old, I don't want to fade. Now let's look at Ryan Clark. Mind you, I don't know any of those guys. And I'm not putting Marcellus on a pedestal, nor am I putting Ryan down here and saying that, oh, look at you, how wrong you are. How can you sit it? I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm simply pointing fingers at something that exists in our community right now, especially in the Black community in the hood, where people seem to not have any respect for humankind's, for us. We love to use this card as Black people, right? Talking about like, Black people don't get what they deserve. Black people don't get this, and we need this. Like all sorts of, reparation. Like we'll talk about slavery, we'll talk about racism and everything. We'll talk about how much we're not being appreciated. But it's crazy. The level of lack of appreciation, you'll find that the strongest within the Black community. Why is that? And let me make a case for it. When you go in the hood, whether it's Blood, Crips, just whatever gangs, they're beefing, they're fighting. They're always killing each other. Each other that they're killing, I have news for you. They are all Black, the same skin color, right? The same skin color that you saying other race don't value, other race don't appreciate, other race are being discriminated again. Like this is, but yet we are killing each other. I really think it's time that we start seeing it the same way Marcellus Wiley sees it. And it doesn't have to take him being 50 to realize that. I'm sure he's a very wise guy. And, at the very young age, if you go back and watch his video when he talked about, he heard a bang and he was in the garage lifting and just, in the gym working out. And then saw his uncle, coming out of the bushes or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, so please go watch the video so you can get the full context. But he knew the route that his uncle was. He talked about people that he's lost. Gang violence, people acting tough, people acting that, they can do this. To show their toughness, they have to show you what they can do, how many people they've killed, they've hurt. But that's not toughness. He learned that from a very young age. And thankfully I have as well. That's why I'm here to talk to you about this. Like, young kids, you don't need to pick up a weapon to show that you strong. You don't need to hurt people to show that you're strong. Sometimes the best way to show that you are strong mentally and even physically is to walk away. Walk away. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And you'll find out the people who have walked away, perhaps that they've been called cowards, those are the people who actually live to see a better day. How many gangsters, how many tough guys that are no longer here? And what was what was the point? If you believe that you have a bigger purpose, a higher calling, in my case, being a religious guy, I believe I have a higher calling. Perhaps it's for me to be talking to you right now, telling you that it's okay to walk away. Let me give you an example. When I was in high school, I remember going to a trip to Virginia Beach. So we had a seniors trip. So we went on a trip. And so we went to a convenience store. And so I was about 17. And so I was with a few of my friends. When we got in the convenience store, so we started shopping for little things here and there, drinks and snacks. And so there was this guy, this Black guy, just staring at me. And I would look at him too, because he was looking at me. So I'm trying to be vigilant and keep my eye on him. And so at some point he came up to me, came into my face and said, "Why are you sweating me, little N-word?" So I was 17 years old. I didn't know if he had a gun, if he had a knife on him. I was scared. "Why are you sweating me, little N-word?" So I looked at him, I said, "Not sweating you." I put my hands up, showing him that I don't need the smoke. No smoke here. I'm good. I don't need to fight you. I don't need to retaliate in violence. I don't need whatever you're trying to do right now. I don't need it. I'm good. I want to go back home to my family. I have way too much going on for me to just retaliate back. "Yeah, what do you think I'm looking at? What do you want? Do you want the smoke?" No, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. So I looked at him. I said, "Nothing. I'm not looking at anything. I don't want to fight you, man." Walked away. He proceeded to follow not just me, all my friends into an alley, to which we ran. Call us cowards. Call me coward. I'm the coward that's standing here right now talking to you, telling you it's not worth it. I don't think that guy is still around with that sort of attitude. That would be my guess. So the point is knowing when to fold, right? Knowing when to let go and understand that you have a higher purpose. Your purpose is not to get shot on the streets. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times like you can't just fold. You can't just run away. You can't just not fight. That's when your toughness, your physical toughness has to come into play. Some bullies bullying you and they're cornering you. There's nothing to do. Fight or flight. You fight. Stand up. Stand up for what you believe in and fight. But other times when other desperate people, hopeless people are trying to take your life or making your life hard, seek to simplify it. Seek to make it easier. Don't escalate. Be even-tempered. Be slow to anger. You will see that having that kind of mindset is very helpful. It's not just helpful. It will help you. You will be able to help others to see tomorrow, because sometimes it's really as simple as life and death. When some crazy person, some hopeless person that has nothing to live for is threatening you, sometimes it's just life and death. But you got to know better. You got to know you're a parent. Your kids are depending on you. You're a spouse. You're a son. You're a daughter. There's so much to live for, you know? Life is simple. Let's not try to complicate it too much. As Confucius said, not my words, I'm quoting him. So that's all I got for you guys today. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching this episode. Again, the show is called Tête à Tête. And down the road in the future, I'm going to have many guests, and I'm going to keep talking to you guys about common sense, faith, and let's just try to balance this world. This world needs good foundation, strong foundation. This world needs balance. It's crazy as it is. We need to de-escalate. We need to show love. We need to show peace.